Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are renovating another apartment, and this is 1310 21 Chic Street in the Fashion District of San Myshuno, and it's going to be a little bit of a darker apartment. We're actually going to be designing this in the style of dark cottagecore, which is something that has been on my to-do list for a while. I'm pretty sure at some point I had some suggestions for it, and I had written it down, and I just recently started looking into it like this past week. And basically, if you're familiar with the style of cottagecore, which is really cutesy cottages and basically cottage living in a nutshell, a lot of the design characteristics are like vintage and handcrafted items with clothing, candles, furniture, and needlework. It kind of encourages adopting a simpler lifestyle or a simpler, sustainable existence. Dark cottagecore, on the other hand, is the same sort of idea, but it's a little bit darker of an aesthetic. It might have some more witchy elements to it. So I wanted to combine those here as it is October, and I like to do things that are a little bit more on the witchy side, the scary side, the Halloween side this time of year, and it sounded like fun. I know there are some other aesthetics that are kind of similar in color palette or themes. A couple of those could be dark academia or goblin core. So those are things that I am aware of, but from what I was looking at, this seems to be different. So hopefully you will enjoy it. If you do and you'd like to download this build, it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Gryphi. That information is also in the description down below. Anyway, the floor plan did come together very quickly on this build, and I am currently cluttering up a shelf in the living room. This shelf is from high school years, and it's not one I use very often, but I thought it would be perfect for all of the clutter I wanted to include over here. I wanted to have books and flowers, and I also have a cowplant skull, and just I think it was the perfect corner piece for in here. I also was really excited to use these couches, which are from the Crystal Creations stuff pack. I wanted to have a darker color scheme, but I didn't want the entire space to just be black, so I actually ended up using a lot of darker jewel tones, which I thought worked out very nice in here. I also end up having a gallery wall with a mirror and lots of paintings that feel like they would belong in a cottage. So I have some plants. I end up having a variety of things, honestly, and surprisingly, there's not that many paintings that came with cottage living. So I had to really try and figure out what items gave off that vibe without using a ton of that pack, at least in this room, because I wanted a lot of paintings. I also got to use the new curtains that came with the, oh my goodness, I keep forgetting the name of it, the Storybook Nursery Kit. I thought that they were pretty. Right now there's no other green in the room, so I was inspired to add green in this room because of those curtains. I will be changing the swatch of the rug here momentarily, and I love the brown pillows that I put on the couch. I also made sure to get lots of candles and baskets, and this adorable dresser in the corner is from Parenthood, and I put a new plant up there as well, which is from the artist kit that recently came out. I also just really wanted to put those dried flowers somewhere, and it took me a while to figure out where, and it was a must-have to have this little fairy garden piece that came with Growing Together that has the mushrooms on it. It's just so cute. So cottagecore, so of course that had to be in here, and this dresser piece or side table is what I'm going to be putting the TV above, and it is from Cottage Living, as is the painting I just put above there. And I decided to use a frame TV so I could kind of disguise it into a gallery wall, and the flower painting was perfect for that. There's also a record player over here and a clock as well from the Werewolves pack. And then I thought that this little dresser or desk was also perfect for this space. It's just so small and vintage looking. It is from Paranormal, and I ended up having a shelf over it with a bunch of clutter, including a couple of plants. And I believe I get not a record player. I don't know why I wanted to say record player. I get a typewriter on here instead of a computer, so your Sims can use that instead, and it just feels like it fits the style a little bit more. I also got a bunch of these books from Realm of Magic up here to just clutter up the space. I thought that they looked a little bit older and more on style than some of the clutter object books we have. I liked how simple they were and how they were just kind of bound books all in brown. I also added a small flower vase on the desk as well as a large mirror next door, and then I added another window over on the other side of the TV with a curtain to kind of frame out that wall. I think it worked really nicely with where I have the TV because I didn't really know what to put on that other side, but as soon as I put the window, it felt very balanced and I was quite happy with that. And now we're going to start on the kitchen. I changed my mind about the cabinets in here, the countertops in here, the flooring, the wallpaper, so much. So I probably spent over an hour just on this kitchen. So I had a lot of footage to go through on just this room. So with that, because it's painful to watch, I did cut out a good chunk of the decision process. So all of a sudden I'll be placing down another item and the wallpaper or the flooring or the counters will have changed. I did that because I couldn't make up my mind. So you'll see some of the changes. It's just when it abruptly changes to a different texture or item and I don't end up keeping it, that is why. It just was really difficult for me to get this style down in this kitchen. For some reason, it just wasn't coming together. I really wanted to use these counters from Realm of Magic, but no matter what I did, it just didn't feel like they were working. I do end up using the ones from Cottage Living in the end, which makes sense since I was working on a cottagecore inspired home. But I really wanted to make these work and I just couldn't do it. And I don't know why. I think part of it is not having matching overhead cabinets, which is very frustrating. I really hope with the next pack, Life and Death, that we get matching upper heads. And I say that because there was a recent trailer that they posted that was like sort of a mini gameplay trailer that showed some of the gameplay for the Grim Reaper career. In one of those shots, you can see some counters. So I know we're getting new counters and they look really cool, but I don't know if we're getting overhead cabinets or a fridge or a stove or any of that stuff. No idea. But I really hope we have matching overheads because I'd be very upset if we didn't. Here I am, though, changing to some different cabinets or different countertops. These are the ones I end up going with in the end, but I'm going to change the color of them a couple of times and place a bunch of items around and just change my mind quite a bit. Same thing with the table and chairs in here, which is why I didn't even mention them yet, because they're going to be going away. Different ones are going to come in. I don't know what it was with this kitchen that had me so frustrated, but it really was a process, especially because I loved how the living room came out so much that I was just very upset that it was taking me so long to figure this out and that no matter what I did, I didn't like it. I did try to go for this blue for a while, which I think is really pretty, but for some reason it also wasn't working. So changing out some ovens and fridges and wallpapers, and I think I ended up keeping this stove and fridge in the end, which are both from Growing Together. I think they're really nice. But I don't think any of the other things stay the same. Maybe some of the clutter. I was just really unsure in here, but let me know if you like any of the decisions I made that I didn't end up keeping, because I'd be very curious, because everyone kind of views things differently, and maybe I hated it, but you thought it was beautiful, or maybe I thought it was great. Like maybe the finished product I think looks great, and you're like, I don't like it. I would love to hear your feedback. Here I am trying with the brown overheads, and then I changed back to black, and I couldn't decide if I wanted the brick on the back wall or not. And then I brought in this wallpaper from the cafe. No, what is it called? It was a kit that we got that brought us like stuff for a little cafe or bistro, the cozy bistro kit. There we go. And this is when things started coming together. This rug from Cottage Living really brought in the yellow from the wallpaper, and I just started really feeling it. I think it looks quite nice in here. I love that rug so much. I never use it. I think it's just because it's a little over the top with the bunnies on it, which you would think I would love because I'm a bunny mom. I have 2 rabbits of my own, and I love bunnies, and I buy so much stuff that has bunnies on it. But for some reason in The Sims, I don't use that rug very often, but I thought it worked beautifully in here. And then the bedroom. Similar idea to the kitchen, where I was very indecisive, but not as bad as in the kitchen. So I'm going to be pulling out quite a few beds here before we get to our final bed. I believe the one I end up going for is one from Horse Ranch, the one that has sort of a curvy headboard. And I do add pillows, but I tried a bunch of different beds here. And you can see I have like an overview shot for quite a while, where I'm trying to see if it matches the color scheme of the rest of the house, because I really wanted it to feel cohesive in that way. So I do zoom out quite a bit in the process here, but just placing down some pillows on this bed to start. I do love this one from City Living. It's a gorgeous, like modern 4-poster bed, but it just wasn't working, especially because I really wanted to bring in these green curtains that I had in the rest of the home. I just thought it would look really nice in here. and it wasn't working with that particular bed. So I tried this one from Cottage Living, and it wasn't really working either. It was too dark, and I was like, I don't know what to do here. So I just keep playing around with different beds. I brought this one back in again from Modern Luxe. I tried scaling up these pillows and trying to make something interesting with that, and it just didn't feel right. I felt like this was the wrong style of bed. As beautiful as this one is, it just wasn't quite right. So that one will be disappearing as well after I try a few different rugs with it and see if I can play with other colors as well. I also tried this rug from Vampires, which is really pretty. It brings in the yellow with that like gold tone in it. And then I end up placing this collection of artwork over the bed from Paranormal, which I don't end up keeping. I end up making it a lot simpler in here. And then this is the bed I actually do end up going with in the end. It is still really dark. It has an accent of blue, which I'm able to bring in with the pillows some more. And it just ends up working so much better than all of the other beds that I tried. It just took quite a long time to get there. And then I really enjoyed the backsplash I used in here, or not backsplash, the wallpaper I used in here, which is also from Cottage Living. It has some blues and greens in it, and it's just really pretty. I also then added a couple of shelves over on this side of the room, which I clutter up with all sorts of stuff. And there's a lamp and a big plant in here, and I tried to bring in the green and the blue throughout the rest of the room. And overall, I think it comes out okay. It was just one that took a lot of fiddling to get to. And I think that's okay. I really like when that happens with builds. I know it's a little bit frustrating in the moment and maybe a little bit watching it back, but I feel like I always end up with some really cool outcomes when it is a style that I'm not as familiar with and I have to play around to get it right. I don't know if you agree or if you have experience with that, but definitely let me know what you think of this one. If it's interesting to see the process of trying to find the right item and the right color scheme and moving back and forth so many different times, but I was really determined to make this work. Also, I got to use this new like sculpture piece that we got from the artist kit that is like a torso. I haven't used that yet, so that was kind of fun over there. And I got some stems and a vase and some books. I was just trying to clutter it up with a mixture of items I don't use as often and some ones that I probably overuse. I really liked the little terrarium, I think it's called, that has the crystals in it from Crystal Creations. And then I got a mirror over here, and then we're going to be working on a dresser, which I ended up using the same dresser that we have in the living room from Parenthood. I put two of them together, and then I added this mirror on top, which is from the Cozy Bistro kit as well, to kind of make it like it was a unit that was put together. So yeah, just moving those together now and scaling with tool ever so slightly so that they're not clipping, because that's kind of visually annoying. And then lowering down that mirror so that it looks like it's sitting right on top of the dresser. I also got an armchair over here, which it's blocking one of the dressers, but you only need one of them to work. So I thought that was fine. And then I clutter up the top. You'll see me place down a ton of items. This is a nice trick to do if you would like to clutter things not on the slots provided. You just fill up all of the other slots with other items, and then you're able to slide one onto that surface at the correct height, but not on a slot. I don't know if that made sense, but that's why you see me placing a ton of the same item over and over and then only keeping one and deleting the rest. It was just a nice way to quickly place things the way I wanted them to be placed. And yeah, so I just have a plant over here in the corner, and then the last rooms we have are the entryway and the bathroom. And in the entryway, I did end up using the same wallpaper in here that I have in the kitchen. And I believe I brought the brick across this back wall as well, so that it continues in from the living room and that goes into the bathroom as well. And then I, of course, had to use the mirror from Werewolves. It's just so pretty. I know I used it in a recent build because I did a witchy tiny house, but it's just gorgeous. It was perfect for this build, so it's here. In the entry, we have some flowers, a nice side table, a place to hang up your coat, of course, another little Realm of Magic book, or actually I think that one might be from Werewolves, and a couple of other decor pieces. So just filling that out now, and that should be pretty much it for the hallway. I got a couple of pieces of artwork and a fire alarm, as well as a thermostat. And then we should be working on the bathroom. I did think about using a tub like this, a shower tub combo like that, but it just was the wrong colors for this space. So I ended up going with this one instead from Parenthood with the flowers on it, which kind of felt like it fit the vibe pretty well. And then I got some shelves in here to clutter up. I believe I got rid of the top one and I only cluttered one of them because it just felt a little bit too much. And I think I got like a painting above it or something like that just to fill in the space. Actually, no, I added a vent up here. This one from Cottage Living. I thought it was really pretty and just felt correct. So with that, I am going to finish cluttering up this bathroom and then we're going to be heading on into screenshots. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And a massive thank you to my YouTube members for all of your support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, make sure you check out that link in the description or click the join button below the video. Enjoy the screenshots and I will see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.